Welcome to the RPO Football Show. Formerly, now we are known as the IDP Center. This is the IDP Under podcast. I'm with my host, Jamie Perog. He does the offense. I do the defense. It's crazy around here. The only show that does this, right, Jamie? It's cats living with dogs, whole works. What's going on with you?
Man, I'm excited. We're actually live for a change, so drop your questions in the chat. We're here to answer it for you, man.
I just wanted to go over something real quick with the audience for those that are interested. I'm the number 4 ranker this week on Fantasy Pros, so stiff competition. So again, if you're in the chat and you have some IDP questions, just ask us, and we'll put it out for you. Okay,
Steve, you're number 1 in my heart, bro. Always number 1.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, you got me on that one. Okay, but yeah, I just wanted to show that too. It's a stiff competition if you look at everybody in this thing. But yeah, we're 4th right now, any given Sunday. But having a great run this year. I want to continue that with you. What's going on in the offensive side, my friend? You want to lead us off with some quarterbacks, the leader of the team?
Quarterbacks, man. So if you're looking for a streamer this week, stay away from Daniel Jones versus the Broncos' elite defense. We seen him blow up last week. I even called him as a top 5 bowl prediction, and that came to fruition. He ended up in the top 5, but he's going to turn back into Danny Two Nickels. He's not going to be Danny Dollars this week versus the Broncos. Stay away from him unless you're completely desperate. But if somehow Fields is still out there, I've seen him in like 76% of leagues taken, but that's what, 23%, if my math's correct. He's still out there. So go grab him and start Justin Fields. Always. Top 5 upside every week. And then my last one, Penix. Penix is most likely going to be out there. The Falcons really impressed in week 1. In this week's matchup versus the Vikings sets him up for even more production. Plus, Mooney is returning, and I think Drake London is playing. We also have a question in the chat, Steve.
Oh, okay, there you go. Hey, that's a good question, actually. Would you play Aaron Rodgers in a 14-teamer? He's on waivers a lot of places, Jamie.
He is on the waivers, and Aaron Rodgers did impress. 14-teamer, yes. Yes, I think you could even play him depending on who's there in a 12-teamer. In my rankings right now, I do have him around that QB 20-ish range, like right ahead of Bryce Young, Geno Smith. So I think he is playable, and he can, depending on your scoring format, I think he can get you at least a good 17 points. I don't know.
So
but yeah, 17.
Let me ask you this: in regards to Aaron Rodgers, in regards to Daniel Jones, would you play them over any of the following guys? Would you play them over Russell Wilson, Jared Goff, any of those kind of middling week 1 kind of players? Would you play those 2 over those 2 guys?
So Daniel Jones, yes, I would play Aaron Rodgers over Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. And Russell Wilson, yeah, I have him ranked behind him. I would also play Aaron Rodgers over Matthew Stafford, Mac Jones, Tua, Flacco, Cam Ward, Spencer Rattler, Sam Darnold, players like that. So
Tua's another one. A question for you on that. Are you off that train? Are you trying to trade him for everything you got right now? Or are you just going to ride it out?
You're going to have to sell low on Tua. And yes, I am willing to sell low on Tua. We just talked about it on my previous show. We just got off, and he's just got that injury risk. So if you wait to try to sell him when he has a good game, you might miss that window, because what if he gets hurt? Then he's going to be done.
Yeah.
You can't sell him for pennies. So I would just get rid of him for what you can now. I would even sell him straight up in a super flex league for any second-round pick.
Makes sense. Any other quarterbacks there, Jamie?
Quarterbacks, not that I've seen that's actually worth playing that should be out there.
Okay. I'm going to roll it back to linebacker, and then we'll go back and forth between things. Linebacker, what we already knew. So this is kind of a repeat for the last 2 months. So for the audience who can waiver these guys, cool. If you've already had waivers, like I had most of our drafts this morning, these will be considered streams. Mac Wilson, Devin White, Christian Rosenboom, Cody Barton, Nate Landman. Any one of those guys is serviceable. They're green dot defenders, every down backs. Jamie knows they're at the end of every single draft that we've had. So I've been spouting them for 2-3 months. There shouldn't be any shock, yet they're on waivers for week 2. For those non-shallow leagues, for those deeper leagues, we're going to talk about LB2s because, those guys are every down linebackers. LB2s. Cedric Gray won the job. Divine Diablo won the job. Those are players, too. If you're deep enough, you can go ahead and play them confidently. Another LB2 rookie. I didn't play in week 1, Demetrius Knight. I kind of wish I did. I just wanted to see how that played out. But him and Logan Wilson did excellent. If you look at all the box snaps this week that those two played, Demetrius Knight would be a guy that I'd want too. And last but not least, I'm going to go those deep 32 leagues for linebacker. There's two guys for you right now, Jamie. There's a guy named Eric Wilson of the Vikings. Ivan Pace did not go in when Blake Cashman got hurt. Ivan Pace is just doing his own thing. Eric Wilson took the role of Blake Cashman when he got hurt. He played every down green dot, every down linebacker after that point. A lot of people are going to miss that if they're just looking at box snaps. A lot of people are going to miss that because the casual fan's going to look at, he only played 30% of downs. No, he played 100% of downs once the injury happened. So keep an eye on that. And then one more for you guys. One more. Sewell of the Bears, if TJ Edwards is out, similar circumstance. He had a great week. Jamie, I can talk numbers all you want, but volume is king at that position. I don't really have a lot of context. You got any thoughts there? Or you want to move on to your next category?
I wanted to ask you about Kenneth Murray. I know he had a pretty decent game last week. Is he going to be inside the top 30, or should we still put him outside like that LB3 range?
So good question with Murray. We had that one wrong this offseason. I got him as 32 right now, 32 or 33. So he's right outside that. He's going to be your player. The short answer is both of those guys are dead to me once the Marvion Overshown comes back Thanksgiving. So that's a waiver scoop we'll probably have in a later show. But yeah, keep an eye on that. But yeah, you can play Kenneth Murray. I don't like the metrics. I don't like the player. This is death to Jack Sanborn because here's why. Jack Sanborn's a tackler. He had the green dot in OTAs, but so did Kenneth Murray. Murray had the green dot, so they kind of shared him. That's what's kind of underreported. Jack Sanborn got exposed in coverage. He only played 1/3 of all the passing downs, so they're afraid to use him in coverage. They only use him on obvious tackle downs, and he doesn't have the green dot anymore. So I'm kind of dead on him. Murray, I'll play him outside, to answer your question, outside 30, 31, 32, 33 LB. That feels good to me. Excellent question, my friend.
Perfect. So let's go over to the running back stashes because there's a few names that I picked out that could be decent stashes. You're obviously not going to be able to find right away production on the waivers for running backs because everyone's trying to stash running backs. But Giddens from the Colts, he could be the ultimate handcuff. If Taylor goes down, Giddens is going to see the workload. We saw it last week. I think he got over 10 carries alone. So that's someone that I'm willing to stash. Gainwell, if you have an open roster bench spot in deeper leagues until Caleb Johnson gets worked into that offense, I'm willing to put a stab at Gainwell right now. And then go make sure you grab Brayshaw Tootin. Like we just seen Bigsby get traded, and Tootin is that super freak. And also his teammate in deeper leagues, go stash LaQuint Allen because we never know if something happens to ETN. There could be a Brayshaw Tootin, LaQuint Allen rookie split right there, and they both have good strengths. You'll see LaQuint Allen on that goal line and short yardage, and then that's pretty much it that I've noticed for running back stashes this week.
So moving on to defensive line. Let me just start here. If you're in a defensive tackle required league, this was a great week for defensive tackles. You can go any combination. Byron Young went off. Leonard Williams went off. Let's go there. Leonard Williams went off last week. 78% snap share, produced 7 tackles, 3 solos. He's a defensive tackle cheat code because he's very strong. He's very quick. They play him in a 3-tech. They play him in a 5-tech. They move him around, but he's an absolute pickup if he's somewhere around. You can play him as a DT. You can play him in those DL leagues. You can put him as a depth piece. Byron Young, I said Leonard Williams. Ed Oliver has had a renaissance. A lot of us punted him in all IDP leagues. He's going to late rounds. He had a game, as most of us seen, against the Ravens. So I guess he's back. Continue to pick him up. DL in general, though, I'm going to start with Carl Granderson. That's a player you've heard me talking about all off season. It panned out. 5 tackles, 1.5 sacks. The team moved to a 3-4 this offseason, which just pushes him out to linebacker edge. He's 261 pounds of a man. He's not going to cover. He's going to pressure. So they handed him an 86% count like a linebacker, but they rushed him all the time like a DL. So he's going to be a fun cheat code. I got him most places in the final round of my drafts, and here he is already week 1 waivers. And last but not least, I'm going to give you one more here. Last but not least, for regular leagues now. Last but not least, we're going to go Hassan Reddick. I know a lot of people were afraid of this guy. I know he picked it up, but he had snaps this week, did he not? He had incredible snaps this week. And you know what? I'll throw in Rashawn Gary. He's been a lot of places too, not really paid attention to. Hassan Reddick and Gary both, same kind of process. They're both heavy volume guys, both producing all around. They both got guys around them that are going to eat up the plays, whether it's Devin White, whether it's Mike Parsons. For your deep leagues, I want you to pay attention to 2 names. Isaiah McGuire, as you know, of the Browns. It's always good. It's always good when you have Myles Garrett on the other side of you, right? He's a volume-based guy. I got him in all my 32-team leagues. And perhaps my biggest dart throw sleeper this year has been Deo Adengbo. He led the team. He led the Bears team in snap count and tackles, 82% snap count, and he had a 15.8 pass rush rate. And he also ended up getting a sack. I know I gave you a lot of names there. It's only week 1. You can go even deeper, guys. If you want to go over to Fancy Six-Pack, my waiver wires article, I have over 32 players, all types of platforms. This is just hitting the iceberg. But these are players that I've seen that have been streamed or are being streamed this whole week that you guys can pick up and get.
I love that last name you gave. Deo. They like come in and want to go home. But yeah, I love that Granderson call out. You helped me grab him in the final rounds of all my leagues. 35th round. It's crazy. And he's already showing that he's going to be a good value there. So let's move on to wide receivers.
Wait. Hold on.
Oh.
So Real Ones 1986 posted, would you play Granderson over Josh Allen? That's I know. That's a tricky one, and I'll explain the rationale. It's like stocks. One's coming off a high, one's coming off a low. I like Granderson, don't get me wrong, but there's like in IDP, there's like 7 or 8 defensive linemen that are must starts. Then there's another 4 that in the order they kind of get jabbled around a little bit. Guys like Brian Burns, guys like Transition, guys like Grenard, guys like Josh Allen. So Josh Allen is a semi-must start for me. I have him as a DL 13 this week. He's on my fringe. Again, my rankings are still coming together. I have Granderson as high as 18. So my short answer is I would take Josh Allen over Granderson. However, what do we know about that player? Produces a goose egg, but what does he do? He got all the pressures. He got all the snaps. He's going to be there in the quarterback's face every day, and that's what I want. I want to take my chances with the Josh Allen. Excellent question, but yeah, that's the only I would go Allen ahead of Granderson. Not very many players I would take over Granderson, but there's 17 other names I'd rather have.
Nice. Keep those questions coming, guys. We love to answer chat questions. So I'm going to move on to the wide receiver streamers. Keon Coleman, if for some reason he's out there, which if he is out there on waivers, you need to play in better leagues because that means you're in a 10-team start 7 with only 5 bench spots because he was going consistently in the 120th overall players. And I keep seeing should I pick up Keon Coleman or this guy? I'm like, Keon Coleman should have been drafted. So go get Keon Coleman. He's got top 24 upside every week, especially with Josh Palmer as a Jag. Shakur is kind of injured. So I think Keon Coleman is going to have a big year. Go buy him in Dynasty also. And Hollywood Brown, obviously with Rashee Rice out, he's suspended for 5 more games. And then we have Xavier Worthy injured in week 1. We don't know the extent of his injury yet, how long he's going to be out. But Hollywood Brown becomes the immediate wide receiver 1 for Mahomes. So go pick him up too. And I believe he had like 16 targets, almost 100 yards. I can see that happening almost every week. 16 targets, and I guess high flex play right now. Next guy is Cedric Tillman. He showed he can be trusted with Flacco throwing him the ball. I've been saying it all off season. With Flacco up at the helm, Tillman is going to outscore Jerry Jeudy. People thought I was crazy, but it's already starting to show that it's happening. I started Tillman last week over guys like Jamison Williams, Olave, just because I knew this was going to happen. I even started him over Jerry Jeudy in a league because I got both. So go get Tillman in Dynasty redraft. As long as Flacco is starting quarterback, Tillman's going to have a lot of value. And then here's a desperation. Marvin Mims, like his preseason usage didn't carry over into week 1. Week 1, he only had 53% of the snaps, 4 targets, 3 receptions for 12 yards. That doesn't match up with what Mims is good at. Like, that's not like him at all. We all know he can easily go for 1 catch, 50 yards, and a touchdown any given moment. So that right there with that 1 catch can put him in that top 25 range for wide receivers. But just remember, it's risky. We don't know when it's going to happen. So if you're desperate in a deep league, throw him in there as a what the heck flex.
Hey, we had like 4 or 5 messages for you, Jamie. So I'm going to read them all at once. Yeah. Our boy Aiden in the chat, good stuff. Right back at you, my friend. We're promoting the IDP Center. So any tools, they have this great trade calculator over there. They got a great Discord full of great men and women. We're always talking about offense and defense. This is going to be an ongoing thing. I think this has been successful so far, James. So we'll probably continue the live chat pace, for the early part of the season. But yeah, thank you, Aiden. Thank you for putting our stuff in your publications in your Discord and right back and forth. Anything that's going on the channel, we're going to put out here with promo codes and exciting leagues coming up. So thank you, Aiden. And then you got another one, Jamie. You got one from Logan. Logan said, thanks, Aiden, for helping us figure this out. Thrilled to see the IDP channel up. 32 teams, 7 IDP. That's another thing, Jamie. These guys play hardcore leagues. We're not talking about shallow leagues. 32 teams. I'm in one with
our league, man.
I have one with these guys, a 20-teamer. You start 8 defensive backs, 8 points of pass deflection. It's insane. Like, you want IDP, you go to the IDP Center. But yeah, this guy here, it's 32-team leagues, balanced scoring, but he just got Devin White for $42 fab. Is spending a second-round pick for him too much? I'm going to say yeah, because I like to take garbage pail kids. I like to get volume late. I like to get players late. But at the same time, that second-round pick does not have any value, does it, in a 32-team league? I know me and Jamie playing at 32. I offered him like peanuts. They offered him like a second for a guy like Tyrell Dotson. He's like, no, that ain't worth anything.
Yeah, I love
Jamie, what do you got for this?
I was so high on Dotson.
Yeah, see, so maybe so second round. I usually don't spend high picks for.
I think a third round would be decent for Devin White.
But a second rounder in a 32-team league, what would that be? Like a third rounder, early third, mid third,
probably a fourth.
I think he's good. Hey, you get the players you want. That's exciting. And then you got 2 more here. Actually, no. Oh yeah. Slayton, yeah. Is Slayton droppable? The Giants? Is he going to?
He only got one target. I'm not interested in a guy who's going to get 1 target in an offense.
Right.
Even if you double his target share, I don't want him. Triple it, I still don't want him. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, go ahead and drop Slayton.
We have a bit of a gang thing going on. More than 3 people in the room's a gang. We got Paul in the chat too. He's like, "Dang, Logan's here. That's rough." But IDP represents, I guess. You know what's funny? Since I've been doing these podcasts, I can't get players off waivers or stream anymore because everybody knows what I'm thinking. Especially like linebacker, defensive back. They know what I'm thinking. They already get them before I get them. These guys are trying to get ahead of their competition, and I love it. And again, Jamie, I know you're not in the Discord much. I try to tag you in. It's a great community we built. We started off of Reddit, and it just grew and grew and grew. So thank you, Aiden, for doing this.
Chris asked about Hollywood.
There it is. Hollywood Brown, good for a few games. I think you answered that.
Literally just talked about him. He probably came in late, but I said he is a high priority pickup. He's a former first-round pick, right? He looks like he's ready for a bounce back with Rashee Rice suspended for 5 more games. Xavier Worthy going down. Brown instantly became Mahomes' top target with 16 targets. He caught 10 of them, man. He even had a 49-yard grab. So any given week, yeah. I mean, he even had 11 more targets than Juju and 12 more targets than Kelsey. So he's definitely worth a pickup and definitely put in your lineup.
There you go. There you go. Infinite number of monkeys. He's always over here supporting us. I appreciate you guys coming in. He's here too. He wants to let you know. He wants to let you know there's an infinite number of monkeys in the universe. Logan's in the chat. Devin White. Yeah, keep your questions coming. Offense, defense. And Jamie, you got a couple bets for the end of the show, right?
Yeah, so stay tuned, man. We're going to talk about some nice bets for this week.
I know I detoured you a little bit. Wide receiver. Do you have anybody else out there you're thinking about?
No, just like I said, Marvin Mims is a desperation. Tillman's a must-add. Hollywood Brown, definitely. And if you're in a league, a shallow league, you still need Keon Coleman on your bench.
Yeah. It's kind of hard when you're only talking about week 1. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard because we have a lot of football left. I know a lot of people beat their chest. I know I was after the Kings Classic draft. You've seen the hand I had. If I was playing poker, I would have had a royal flush there. But injuries are going to come and players are going to move up depth charts and what have you. Wide receiver, running back, linebacker are usually the ones that you'll see all the changes happen to.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess that's it. I guess we'll move on to defensive back.
Well, we have a question, another question.
If you don't have anybody else.
Wait, hold on. No. Infinite numbers of monkeys.
No, Aiden said thanks for the IDP support. But monkeys just brought up the guy I wanted to kind of know about. I asked you this offline about Kayshon Boutte.
Man, I mean, he had 8 targets. Like he reminds me of that Christian Kirk type of role where he's going to be playing on the outside, and then he could also play a little bit of the slot too. I mean, you can't ignore those 8 targets, man. It was about 17% target share. Those air yards though was top 10 for the air yards, so he is going deep. And I drafted a lot of Boutte only because I love the name. I also drafted Naylor because I wanted to name my team Naylor Boutte. I also drafted a lot of Elijah Moore because I wanted to name my teams Naylor Boutte Moore. But it worked out. Boutte's going to get that production. I don't see it falling off, and keep him rolling out there as a flex.
Gotcha. I think you got one more question there.
What is this? Panic on Dolphins? Yes. Tyrek Hill was my most undrafted player in this whole offseason. Didn't take him. If he fell to the 3rd, I didn't want him. If he fell to the 4th, I still passed him. He's a basket case, man. He's got that, what's that, CTE, whatever Antonio Brown has. I mean, he's got more kids than he has touchdowns. So yeah, move off of him.
Gotcha. Okay, I think we're going to go to defensive back here, unless you got anybody else you want to talk about.
I think we're good, unless we have any more questions in the chat.
He said, no, don't snipe me. They're in there drafting right now. They draft all year round like us, Jamie. Like I said, you got to check out the IDP Center. Not only do we have camaraderie, we have a Discord. They have a trading calculator. It's good. And they have articles as well. And then, these videos are also in the articles, which is very helpful. But yeah, we're gonna get this thing going. We're gonna stay connected to the community. Once again, Aiden, thank you for letting us do this. I'm gonna go to defensive back because I have a couple takes here. It might take me a couple minutes. The first defensive back you guys need to know about. There's usually a pecking order for these guys, but a lot of times there's like musical chairs. It's so volatile. Players will come in and out and move around. They'll lose jobs during the season, promotion. I do an article every week on the Fantasy Six Pack called the IDP Safety Dance. Yes, that's exactly how it sounds. You can dance if you want to. You can leave that world behind. If you can't tackle, you're no friend of mine, the IDP Safety Dance. So we just did the first article. It'll be published tomorrow. I'm going to give you a couple signs of good things to come. First player in a regular kind of format league, Trayvon Moehrig. I say that he could be picked up because he's only starting in 29% of leagues. Usually I don't talk these kind of players, Jamie, because 33% or below is usually where I cut it, but he's just on the border. There are leagues out there that you can probably use him. He had 11 tackles, but again, at safety, I really don't care that much about production. I care about where they're playing, especially in these tackle type of leagues. In these tackle type of leagues, you got guys like Moehrig who are no choice. They're playing in the box. And he played a whole bunch of snaps in the box this week, did he not? He had to play out of necessity. They had him playing 40 snaps in the box. That led the entire NFL. So, yeah, Trayvon Moehrig is a guy that I want everywhere that I can get him. So I'm playing him right now. Maybe not so much in shallow leagues, but in bigger form. Well, I'm going to say mid to shallow formats. There's two players I want you to know about. The first player is Tykee Smith. You know the name, Jamie, because we talked him all this offseason on the channel. We talked about Tykee Smith. We talked about he was a cornerback and they moved him to safety. I was a little hesitant to put him in my lineups week 1, but I had him on my bench. And week 1, he led the Buccaneers in tackles. We covered this before. He moved to safety. It worked beautifully. This guy here has a full-time slot role, and he's there now. And now, as opposed to Antoine Winfield is more of that free guy. He's the guy that's kind of hovering, making big plays. You're going to see Tykee Smith everywhere playing inside the box. So if you can get a share of Tykee Smith, maybe your friends, maybe there's owners out there that just don't understand IDP and how things work, you can exploit Tykee Smith and Moehrig for that matter. You could exploit both of those guys just based on what you know about how the NFL works. So yeah, Tykee Smith's a guy. And then I'll give you another one here. Connor, of the Chiefs. We were big on Jaden Hicks this offseason, but it didn't turn out to be his job. It did not turn out to be his job. Connor ended up getting it, and he played a ton. He played a ton this week. If he wasn't in the box, I think he played 30 snaps box, 20 in slot, or vice versa. If he wasn't in the slot, he was in the box. That's a player that I'm interested in. That's a player I want because of where they're playing as far as position goes. Those are kind of like my deeper cuts. And if you guys have any players you're thinking about, just let me know here. For deeper formats, I have a philosophy, Jamie. I don't necessarily play free safety and defensive tackle unless I absolutely have to. But in 32-team leagues, bigger formats, I'll play the heck out of free safety, deep zone guys. There are some players in 32-team leagues that I will pick up just because they won the job. Guys like Ronnie Hickman of the Browns. He's going to be deep. He's going to get the job. Guys like Cameron Kitchens, I'm excited about because he makes big plays. Again, he's away from the ball, but in 32-team league, I just need guys that have jobs. guys like Nick Scott. Those guys there, deep leagues, they're secret cuts that you can pick up anywhere. Yeah, shout out to Logan, hilarious tackle dance. Yeah, that's the name of the article. Like I said, I don't want to give away too much because it comes out tomorrow, but I have that in the article. And then also the every down linebacker. I actually have the snaps of where the linebacker plays. If he's pressuring, if he's in the box, if he's in coverage. Those are the kind of things I like to know. I like to know where the players are if I can understand where they move. But yeah, those are my players for defensive back. I'm going to give you a name that no other channel has right now at cornerback. We all know how cornerbacks play. We all know how there's a pecking order of the Witherspoons, the Keon Moores, the Alante Taylors, the Pablo Adebla. We all know those guys. There's a name that nobody knows right now. You ready? Kyu, Kyu, BLU, Kyu Blue Kelly, Jamie. He's a Raiders cornerback, played 100% of snaps, and he got 9 tackles. And all those 32-team leagues that we're in, Kyu Blue Kelly, I picked up. He's a sneaky ad. And all my MFLs where I got to start 2, I'm picking him up. I'm curious. I'm going to take the swing. I'm going to see what he does the first week of the season. Why not? Why not let him roll the dice, see what he can do week 2? And here's a fun stat for you. This Kyu Blue Kelly, again, it's not a player that I prospected, but Kyu Blue Kelly, he only gave up 64 passing yards all of that game last week, and it was usually in the fourth quarter. So those are players you could easily pick up anywhere and get away with it. There's a question in the chat. It's asking about cornerbacks in general. Hold on, let me find it. It asked me, hold on, it was up here a little bit. Give me 1 second here. I thought I seen it.
I'm not seeing a cornerback.
I could have sworn I seen it.
I got one for you. So, like Bears, you mentioned free safeties. Is Bayard a startable safety?
So here's the thing. The reason I play Bayard is because I don't really trust Brisker. Brisker's going off his 3rd or 4th concussion now. I let other people draft Brisker, and I played other positions. So for Bayard, I have him as a DB18 on the week. So, yeah, that's playable in the leagues we play in. Who else do you got?
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I confused. I think they were asking about the safety dance in general. But, yeah, cornerbacks are tricky. They're matchup proof. Like, if you're playing 11 personnel on the football field, what's 11 personnel? 1 running back, 1 tight end. 1-1, that means 11, right? That means you got 3 wide receivers out there. If a team's playing 11 personnel, then I will play that week's slot cornerback. I will do that. If they're not and they're playing, 12 personnel or 13 personnel, I probably will refrain from playing that corner. I think it was on the other show I was on, Jamie. They were asking about Taron Johnson. He didn't have a big week, and he's always in the top 10 of cornerbacks. And the reason he didn't is because the Ravens run a lot of 12, 13 personnel, not 11. So cornerback, there's a bit of a strategy. Jamie used to write the cornerback corner article over at the Six Pack too, so you know a thing or two about corners.
Yeah, cornerback's tricky. Like this week, I'm not playing Michael Pittman because he's going against Surtain, right? And then like a Jameson Williams type, maybe he'll see some Jalen Johnson. Who's some other notable guys? Man, I can't think off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah, you just got to pay attention to what cornerback is going to match up against the wide receiver. Because there was a week last year where I was telling people to start it was like a Washington's number 3 guy over a Justin Jefferson because of the matchup. And that guy ended up scoring 14 fantasy points. Jefferson only got 5. So, yeah, Odunze versus DJ Reed this week. That's going to be tough. Marvin Harrison versus J.C. Horn.
You had 2 questions here. You had a sleeper running back, and in the first one, these guys moved on to tight end. They're hungry, Jamie. Let's start with the running back first. Do you have any sleepers at running back?
Sleeper running backs? Well, it depends. Like, what do you consider a sleeper? How deep are we looking? Like, if I'm looking at my weekly rankings, I would say anyone outside the top 30 would be considered a sleeper.
Yeah, right.
That would be a Dylan Sampson. Travion Henderson. Everyone's probably going to start him anyway. I did mention Kenneth Gainwell earlier in the show.
What about Will Shipley? Is he dead now? Because
Will Shipley, yes, because he got injured. He did look good on those minimum plays, but then he got injured, and then they went and traded for Bixby. So that makes me think something is very wrong with Shipley. I thought Shipley was going to be the ultimate handcuff.
Smart.
So now I'm switching over, and I think Giddens is the ultimate handcuff you want.
Smart take. My Kings Classic League, I had Shipley. I had Ollie Gordon. Let me ask you about that. Now I'm starting to kind of sweat it. Ollie Gordon, is he droppable now? What you got on
Ollie
him?
Gordon? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ollie Gordon. It depends on how you look at it, man. I don't really want any of that backfield unless A-Chain goes down.
Yeah, running back and linebacker is so weird. I can build an all-star team and just punt those positions, and then if I have fob during the season, I can stream. Because ACLs tear, they move left and right. It's just the nature of the beast. What you were talking about earlier with your wide receivers, I just treat wide receiver and cornerbacks like kickers, especially those wide receiver 3 or 4s. They're constant churn and burn of the hot hands, like infinite number of monkeys just said. He treats them like kickers. They get in, they out. What can you do for me this week? So cornerbacks, kickers, and then wide receiver 3 or 4s, they come, they go. That's going to be your waiver wire articles for next couple weeks. Jamie, if you don't have anything else, you got some questions at tight end, your final category here.
Yeah.
Two people. Oh, go ahead.
Hold on. Tight end start.
Yeah. Original Termite asked you if you would start Noah Fant anywhere 14-team league. He had a big league. And then Sebastian, welcome to the chat. He's asking Hunter Henry or Tyler Warren, whichever way you want to answer those. But tight end category, it's all you, buddy.
I was going to bring up Hunter Henry in a minute, but Tyler Warren is a top 5 upside guy. I just talked about him in my last show. He literally, his usage jumped out right away. He was 30% of the target share and 24% of the team's air yards. And this isn't just some random flash game. This is a sign that they want to get him involved. They clearly trust him. He had a 66% red zone target share, and he's being used on third downs. That's fantasy football gold. So Tyler Warren, top 5, and I was going to bring up Hunter Henry. I do think he could be a top 10, so definitely go stream him. Hunter Henry was my number 1 waiver pickup, top 10 in my ranks right now. Could be an every week starter. Drake May is going to rely on his safety net blanket all season, and that's the guy he played with the most last year, and that's Hunter Henry. Harold Fannin, another guy that I'm picking up everywhere.
Really?
I've drafted him so much that I really can't go pick him up anymore because I have him on so many teams. This dude is the real deal. He finished top 6 tight end this week. He had 13.6 fantasy points. He played 72% of the snaps, and he's earning a 21.6% target share. Just his first game. He lined up everywhere. He lined up at tight end. He lined up in the slot, out wide. He even took a snap in the backfield for a carry. This dude is a true mismatch nightmare. He actually played fewer snaps than Njoku, but saw more targets. And his 55 snaps that he did play was 4th most among all Browns skilled players. So fantasy managers, go get him now. Put him on your radar for 2025 and beyond. I've been hyping him up all off season. The breakout is real. We already seen it happen. It flashed. Top 12 weeks are coming for Harold Fannin Jr.
There was a question in the chat about Aiden Hutchinson. How do we feel slow start? Like I said, his tackle floor, he's more of a sack-based, pressure-based kind of player. I'm never going to play Aiden Hutchinson for his tackle volume. But to answer your question, I actually got Aiden Hutchinson number 1 right now this week. It's close. He's playing the Bears. I expect him to rebound, yes. I got him number 1 right now. But I'm going to be real with you. I think there's 3 people or 4 that I might put as my number 1 edges. Hutchinson playing the Bears. Nick Bosa playing the Saints. That's really good to me. TJ Watt playing Seattle. Or Max Crosby with the Chargers. One of those 4, I think, is a really good betting odds. I don't know if you're on DraftKings, Jamie, but one of those 4 for an anytime sack, I'd feel pretty darn good about it. Those are in some order. I think the Hutch, the Bosa, the Watt, the Crosby, somebody in there is going to get something. I'm interested in that. Then, of course,
I saw a funny stat that Jake Bates, the kicker, had more tackles than Hutchinson did.
And then, and he's not known for his tackles. Either's Myles Garrett, for that matter. I'm kind of fading Myles Garrett a little bit because he's playing the Ravens. Something I did on the last show, I'll give you another bet, prop, whatever, if you have them. I don't know. I think Trey Hendrickson is going to murder the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to murder them. It's going to be an APA. Again, that guy last week was on a fury. I put all the numbers over there. I don't want to sound redundant and repeat myself, but those are 5 names this week or start your studs. I don't have a problem with Hutchinson. I'm going to start him, especially if you have him. So kudos to you for having him.
So I want to finish up my tight ends real quick. I got 2 more. Juwan Johnson, obviously, you're going to pick him up. He got a 24% target share. Expect that to decrease going forward. He's not going to be as consistent, but still, you need to consider him as a top 15 until we see otherwise. Just don't expect another top 5 performance right away. So let's pump the brakes on him, but still put him on your roster. Deeper play, Chigo Okonkwo. If you're desperate, put him on your team because he only seen 4 targets. He had a 16% target share, but that should increase as the season goes on because Cam Ward, as soon as he gets acclimated to the pros and starts looking a little bit better, we all know those rookie quarterbacks like to rely on the safety net of their tight ends. So, yep, that's it.
And moving on to bets, I know we threw a couple out there. What do you got for betting, my friend?
Man, betting. Let's start with the Thursday night game. We got the Commanders versus the Packers, right? Packers are -3.5. I'm going to take the Packers money line playing at home. I think they're going to come out on top. The touchdown scorers, I'm giving Josh Jacobs a touchdown. I know the odds are -205, but it's still worth getting it. You can maybe even parlay it with a Terry McLaurin touchdown at +155. So Jacobs and McLaurin touchdown, I can see that happening. Yardage-wise, Jaden Reed, give me 40+ receiving yards. It's at +101. Positive odds. You can even take the 4+ catches. You know he's going to get more than 4+ catches. That's at +132. Take those bets separately and also parlay them together. I think it brings up the odds to +160 something. Because it's going to happen. If he gets 4 catches, he's going to get 40 yards. Jordan Love, his over-under is 229.5. I'm taking the under. He only had 188 last week. And it's a Thursday night game. You have to consider they're going to run more, short week. And I don't see it as high scoring as some people might. So those are my bets for the Thursday night game. I got a few others for Sunday, but do you have any?
I was going to ask you because, we don't have betting here in Georgia, but I have those 5 defensive linemen I would be okay taking an anytime sack on. And then I'll give you those 5 linebackers again we were talking about. I think Mac Wilson is grossly undervalued in the betting department. He's the only linebacker there. I don't know what the props are for Mac Wilson, but I was going to ask you, Devin White, Mac Wilson, Chris Rosenberg, Cody Barton, Nate Landman, one of those five in there, there'd probably be a good bet. Do you see anything for Mac Wilson on your end?
I don't have it pulled up, but when I looked earlier,
I can't. So.
It didn't have all the defensive guys listed. But when the lines do come out, make sure you write this down because Steve knows what he's talking about. Take the plus sacks, take the tackles, anything that he gives you, you're going to want to take that.
Yeah, generally I won't go like sacks, but I feel confident about those five. But tackles, those are your guys. And then keep an eye on injury report. We talked about Eric Wilson earlier in this episode. We talked about new Sewell. If they end up playing and they got a tackle line that's incredibly low, they're going to be by default in position. I wish I had the numbers in front of you. Like I said, I don't have the app. Maybe you can screenshot it to me next week, and then I will I'll look and see, and I'll make a couple picks with you. But those are guys I'm interested in. And then for defensive back, just exploit the matchups. Every week it's like an infinite number of monkeys. Each week they're defensive backs. They're moving around the positions like musical chairs. Speaking of infinite number of monkeys,
pull that comment out.
Anytime sacks versus the Patriots is atrocious offensive line. Candy from a baby. We're going to have you come on sometime, my friend.
I'm going to disagree because Drake May, he had the number 1 yards last year on non-designed runs. So on scrambles, Drake May can get away from sacks easily. So I don't know if that's a lock. I don't think it's taking candy from a baby because Drake May is just that dang good.
But yeah, I don't have a bet for you per se. But yeah, next week, like I said, we'll kind of streamline that a little bit. I can't bet down there, so I'm incredibly frustrated. But I think those are players you could exploit. Defensive back.
Patriots fan. So on Sunday's game, there's a few bets out there that I like. Take Trevor Lawrence over 237.5. I like that versus the Bengals. The Bengals secondary sucks. Expect a Derrick Henry touchdown for sure versus the Browns. And then Justin Fields over 183.5 passing yards. That's at minus 113 odds. Give me that all day. Should be playing from behind, and they're going to be needing to throw the ball. Then Breece Hall, he had over a 20% target share. So when his receiving line comes out, it's not out yet, but take the over on his receiving for Breece Hall. Cam Ward, I mentioned it earlier, he's going to struggle against the Rams defense. They put his line at 198.5 passing yards. Take the under. Last week, he only had 112. And then just to go off of Drake May versus Dolphins, when this line comes out, take Drake May over on passing yards, take his over on rushing, take Drake May's anytime touchdown for a rushing touchdown, because we saw Daniel Jones get 2 touchdowns last week on the ground. I think Drake May is going to get at least 1. Boom. Mic drop.
I've been frustrated with Drake. Am I in the minority here?
Yeah, Drake May's awesome. He's going to be awesome.
What? I'm trying. I believe all the numbers. Hell, I put them in my. Go ahead.
Well, we have another question in the chat. I picked up Jalen Naylor. Is that a good wide receiver? Maybe for the first 3 weeks, but when Addison comes back, I don't want anything to do with Naylor. The only reason I drafted Naylor was when I drafted Boutte because I wanted to name my team Naylor Boutte.
Oh, ba-boom.
Boom.
Ba-boom.
Naylor Boutte more.
Old Jamie.
Cam Curl. That's one for you, Steve.
Yeah.
I was drafting him and a few in the 35th round in best ball, but I'm not really interested in him.
So the Rams secondary is kind of interesting. I've been harping on Quentin Lake all offseason, and the story goes Cameron Kitchen, second-year player. He's great. He's going to be that free. He's a guy we can play free deep. He's going to be a 32-team kind of player. That puts Curl by default, who was shifting back and forth, into the strong safety role. And then Cameron Lake, who exploded last year, he became the slot. So I've been on Quentin Lake. And I was excited this week because the guy Quentin Lake had 100% of snaps. He played, and he was in the box. He played the box for all of those snaps. Well, guess what? He had 48 slot snaps, excuse me. Guess what? I was expecting big production. I didn't get it. You know why? Because teams know this. They're not stupid. They're going to alternate our plans and move against that. They end up running the other way. What did the Rams do? The Rams brought Cameron Curl, who's been a recycled veteran the last 2 seasons. People are kind of off him. I picked him up in waivers this week. What happened to Cameron Curl? This is something to be excited about. They moved him down and they played him in the box. So my Lake take was kind of sort of right, but not really. It's on Lake now. So I'm picking up Lake, and I'm actually starting Lake this week in a lot of places, like 14 team and bigger, start 2 DB. He had a 10 tackle sack performance because of those 19 box snap plays. So, yeah, you can play Cameron Curl right now. Cameron Curl, excuse me. I'm pretty excited about this week. Again, guys, it's week 2. A lot of these things are going to switch around. We're not going to have the solid data until a couple weeks into the season. But to answer your question, I was high on Lake. I'm going to pause on Lake a little bit. I'm going to go like top 30-esque, but I'm going to put Curl, DB 19, DB 20 on the week. I'm kind of feeling good about that, especially if he gets those sweet box snaps this week. Logan asked, what are some good sack DFF plays?
That's a good question. So I'm going to start with who is playing against Cam Ward.
There you go.
That's a good question. Who is playing Cam Ward? Cardinals.
We can leave, Jamie. We can research these offline too, and we can leave them in the chat. We can message them if you want as well, because I know we weren't prepared for the IDP side unless you have a couple.
Yeah. So Cam Ward is playing against the Cardinals. Cam Ward has been sacked the most in the league so far, with what was it, 6 sacks in week 1. So who's the sack guy on the Cardinals? Is it Baron Browning? I know he got one last week. Who else on the Cardinals? Sweat? Would Josh Sweat be a sack contender?
So,
I don't know.
Josh Sweat is going to log a whole lot of snaps this year. He's a sack contender every week. It's just with Sweat, he doesn't really have the metrics. You know what I mean? He's just that old bucket head. He's just going to play those downs, and he's going to get you. And the coach knows him. He didn't have a sack last week. He just had 1 tackle. But he's always a threat, 63% of snap count. That's what I look at. He's always a threat to get one. I wouldn't put money on him as a sack prop, though. I wouldn't do that. I think for me, those 5 names I listed to you earlier, if they're available and they're cheap, I'd pick them up.
All right, I can see that. Can you see Micah Parsons getting a sack versus Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, I mean, Micah Parsons, he's a player. He only had 2 pressures last week. He converted 1 to he's a threat every single week. You know the guy I'm kind of interested in? I know we talked about Reddick earlier. We talked about Granderson. One guy I left off waivers because he's rostered a little bit outside of the norm. One guy, if it's over 33, I'm not going to put him on my show because somebody's got him or somebody's streaming him. There's a guy, Rashad Gary. Gary, week 1, 79% of snaps. Those are things I look at. I want a defensive lineman that has 60 to 80% of snaps. The rationale is he's on the downs. He's playing all the downs. 100% guys, they're bound to get injured unless their name is Max Crosby. And even lately, they've been getting hurt. But 79% is that sweet spot. That's what I'm looking for. Week 1, he did produce. Gary had a 1.5 sack. He had a couple of QB hits, too, at 4. Those are the players I look for. I know the Parsons is the sexy name, but he's going to play opposite side of Parsons. And here's the best part: either way you want to do this, either one you want to play, I'm going to go Gary. I know you're probably going to go Parsons. He's got the Titans week 2, so that's probably a sneaky bet as well. Gary,
okay,
week
so
2.
here's one for you. The Patriots are playing the Dolphins. We all know the Patriots. I think they had like 4 sacks last week, and they're playing Tua this week. So who's most likely to get a sack on Tua? Is it Harold Landry? I know Hawkins got a sack last week. Is there anyone else on that Patriots squad that can get a sack? I think it's Harold Landry, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like even sack props, I'm a little hesitant because of pressure rate, but tackle floor, every week he's in place because of the tackle floor. So Landry's a guy I'm always looking at. Sack props, a little bit iffy, just matchup based, you know?
Yeah, but with the matchup versus the Dolphins, I could see Landry getting
Yeah.
at least 1 sack. So take the 1+ sack.
I'm not chasing Bryce Huff anywhere. Thanks for that comment. As we wrap up the show here, Paul asked, is Bryce Huff actually one and done super deep leagues? Again, how deep we talking? A 64-team league, which I have. I'd rationale 32-team league. You're playing everybody. I don't chase Huff because he's boom or bust anyway. The 49ers are gonna play guys anywhere. So I don't I'm not gonna say he's officially done. He'll get you some stats, but I'm not playing him. No, I don't have him anywhere. Jamie, thanks for coming on with me. Any closing thoughts? Tell the audience where they can find you.
Yeah, man. Just go out there, win your games because no one likes a loser. You can find me right here with Steve at the IDP Center doing the Wednesday night stream. And right before this show, I do a show on Fantasy Six Pack. We do our Dynasty show. And then on Tuesday nights, I do cheat sheet over at Going for Two Live. And then Sunday morning, Going for Two Live. If you have any lineup decisions that you want, we do a start-sit show starting at 11:30 Eastern time, an hour and a half before the games. So come ask who to start, who to sit. We'll give you the right answers every time.
All right. And then, of course, you know me. If you want my rankings, you go over to Fantasy Pros. I'm number 4 ranker. If you guys like listening about snap counts, box snaps, stuff like that, the Every Down Linebacker article came out today. The Safety Dance comes out tomorrow, and I'll put that in Discord for you guys as well. And then lastly, I do a waiver wire article on Mondays because why not? I'm bored, right? I have 32 players in there for all the different leagues. I know we kind of did this, put together this really quick as a quick sample size just to give you a little taste. Y'all want to look at the comments. And then lastly, this is the YouTube channel, the IDP Center. I'd like to have you guys on for guests as well as we get to the midpoint. If you guys are interested, just leave a comment. I'll bring you on if you want to talk about your league or anything interesting. As the season goes, we're just going to grow and get stronger. Last but not least, I want to thank the audience. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for making these fun. I didn't know because I don't do a lot of live shows, so thank you, Jamie. But yeah, we obviously there's a taste out there for these kind of shows. So next week we'll get a little more specific. We'll have better prop bets. And Paul, yeah, you're very welcome as well. Thanks for listening. I don't have anything else, Jamie. Do you have anything else, my friend?
Yeah, just one thing. You are the 4th IDP ranker in the world, but you're number 1 in my heart. And I take everything that you say to truth. So follow Steve at the IDP Hunter, and you'll win tons of leagues.
I don't have nothing to say about that. I can't follow up with that. So we'll just close the show on that. Everybody, thanks for coming in. Talk hard, everybody. Take care.
Peace.